A couple weeks ago on my Instagram story, I asked all of you to send me videos that I could critique so that people could kind of see my thought process around coaching and get a little help here and there. First clip coming in from Reese. This is a snatch, I believe. Let's watch the full video. And he falls on his butt. Okay, so the first thing that I want to look at here is the way you're set up. So in this setup position, I would say your hips are a little low because your shoulders are kind of a little bit behind the barbell. And you'll notice that as soon as you start to pull, this like rocks your weight, or it sets your weight right in the floor off back in the heels a little bit. So now as soon as we start to pull, right, we have to shift forward. And then as you pass the knee, you notice that pressure goes back and the toes rock up, right? So this is a big theme and something I look at in a lot of lifting is, what is going on with the pressure in the feet? So this we call like rocking chair feet. You notice he even like kind of turns them out a little bit. In my opinion, if you're going to turn your toes out, I would start with them planted there because I feel like that's naturally where your hips kind of want to externally rotate to. So I would set your feet a little bit wider, but keep that pressure full in your foot right through the whole pull, especially when you pass the knee, and maybe set up just a little bit higher. So that's what I'd say for that. Hope that helps. All right, next clip we got coming from Nico or Nico. Don't really know what it is, but this is a muscle up. Let's take a look at this muscle up on the rings. There's a couple things I like. I like how when he comes from the top here, he sticks his feet out and gets this big pump for the next rep. Gets a little bit broken here at the back, right? So we want to maintain a nice long arch all the way through the toes and the strap. So you'll notice when he goes to pull, right here, the rings are facing each other like this. I would like to see the ring straight for longer, because this is putting his wrist on the bottom and it's making it really hard for him to sit and then get his wrist on top. Like his shoulder is above the height of his hands, but his hands are down like this because of the way his wrists are, basically. Another thing that I noticed here is as he's bringing his feet through, right, he's doing this swing. What I like to see is the body to be a little bit more like this. Okay, because that gives his hip an area to pop open and up. I'd say bring the knees up a little bit before that hip pops, and that should give you a little bit more out of it. The big thing here is once he's trying to do his hip extension, he's getting that height by swinging the feet back, right? We see this up when people jump for like a jump shot in a basketball. We also see this in the dip out of the ring. We call it like a back dip, where your feet would swing back to get that elevation up. So he's just getting that last bit of elevation from the wrong place. So I'd like to see the knees come up more on the front swing, and then the hip extend, and then transition into the catch. So hope that helps, but a lot of that I think is going to come from those rings being straight. So try and fix that. Okay, let's take a look at, this is Abby. Looks like a set of toes to bar. Really solid set of toes to bar, honestly. There is one thing that I do see. She jumps up in a beautiful shape, right? Love this, love that, great. She gets into a nice shape here at the front. Notice how this is a nice smooth arc, and then we're not like bending the knees too much. The only thing that I don't love, and you'll notice she does it on every rep here, right at the front, if you look at her elbow, they break to the wall, or they break to the sides, right in the sides of the upright. Take a look here. So right at the front, her elbow kind of breaks to the side. Take a look at this elbow. So there's that little wiggle in the elbow where it pops out. So that's just missing range of motion here, opening in the front of the shoulder through the chest. And so she's trying to get through the bar by bending her elbow to the side. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. You're kind of losing a little bit of tension at the front of the kip. But other than that, these look really solid. Keep up the good work, Abby. Next, we have, honestly, I'm sorry, I could not find your clip that you sent, so I don't quite know the name of this one. But let's take a look. So this looks like it's at a competition. Pressure's on, obviously. Looks to be a set of squat cleans. Oh, it's a complex. Looks like 3 cleans, 2 front squats, 1 jerk. 1 jerk, and he misses the jerk. Bummer. So you need a lot of legs for the jerk, especially like at the end of a complex. So it just looked like he, was kind of worn out from it. But there's a lot that he could do to save his legs in the complex to, make sure that he's ready for the jerk. So the biggest thing here is eyes looking at the ground. Okay, so this is a common theme where he's just looking at the floor until he gets to this thigh position. And his eyes are still down, but yeah, this is pretty common. And then you'll notice as he brings the bar back down, instantly, as soon as it comes off the shoulder, eyes look back at the ground. So don't love that. It's just going to pull you forward. The weight is already in your hands. So especially when you're doing rep after rep and you're translating that bar back to the ground, it's pulling you forward even more. So keeping the eyes up, keeping the shoulders held back will really help make these reps a lot easier for you. And he does it on every single one. Front squat looks solid, right? He doesn't lose rack position at all. Resets for the jerk. Good solid dip, good solid drive. And then this split position, you notice this back heel is kind of starting to fall in a little bit. I'd like to see the toe pointed in like this, how this foot is. And that should give you a little bit more knee bend in the back knee and allow you to get under the bar a little bit more. One of my pet peeves is when people miss a jerk and they're like, oh yeah, you just got to get under it. You just got to get under it. Sure, he needs to get under it, but like, the bar isn't traveling up quick enough and there's not enough time for him to get into that position. The position's not great, but there's also not enough legs in the drive to make the position work. So just trying to get under it typically shorts the drive of the jerk and doesn't help as much as people think that cue does, in my opinion. So hope that helps. Let's do one more. Looks like we got another ring muscle up. This is Parker. Dude looks jacked. Yeah, this is another thing that's super common for a lot of people. He's making this way harder than it needs to be. I remember him leaving me a comment about this, where he was like, some days I just randomly get one and it's like super easy and I just float up there. And some days it feels like it's like impossible and I don't quite know the difference or what I'm doing wrong. Basically, these are hard for you because you are trying to do basically like an L-sit muscle up. So we get this big kip, beautiful position. Okay, I could, again, have a little bit more, right, bent in the hip here, right? So the knees could be up a little bit more. But this is plenty hip extension. You notice how high the hips get to the rings. He loses tension here on the back of the strap. You see the strap jump, right? So we don't want to see that looseness right there. Don't want to see that. So that's part of the problem, but this is really the big issue. That takes a lot of effort on your abs to sit over the ring like that, especially with your feet up in your face like that. So as soon as you go to sit over the rings, your feet are swinging up, right? And you start to see them. You need to start to drop your toes as you look for them in the muscle up to transition over, or else you'll just keep doing this L-sit thing. You'll also notice that on the second one, he struggles to get his wrist on top. And this is a similar kind of thing that we had with Nico in the beginning, where his shoulder is above the height of the ring. He's theoretically completed the muscle up, but he can't hold himself on his fingertips like that, right? So we need to get the full hand on top. And a lot of that comes with wasting time in the transition, right? And doing that kind of like L-sit over the top of the rings. So hope that helps. This looks really good. Just peek for your toes a little bit sooner, pop the hip, and then look for your feet as you sit into that catch. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful and kind of gave you a perspective of what I'm looking at when I'm coaching athletes and, you know, the way I think about movement. So if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like button. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about what I was talking about or, you know, the way that I was thinking about things. If you want me to review one of your clips, you can shoot it to me in a DM on Instagram at Monroe Miller. Check out one of my other 2 videos. I have a series on how to get a muscle up since we had a couple muscle ups in there. So check out that video and I'll see you in the next one.